There is a dangerous illusion many men live under. An illusion that if they just do enough, give enough, sacrifice enough, then they will be loved, respected, and never replaced. So they try harder. They become more available, more generous, more understanding, more patient. They ignore their own needs just to keep someone else happy. They go out of their way to prove their worth. They believe that loyalty is something you earn through effort. But life has a way of exposing illusions. Because at some point, every man who believes this will face the same moment. A moment where everything he has done suddenly feels meaningless. A moment where the person he gave his time, energy, and attention to begins to pull away, becomes distant, cold, uninterested. And in that moment, confusion sets in. Because in his mind, he did everything right. He showed up. He cared. He gave. So why is it not enough? Why does it feel like the more he gives, the less he is valued? This is where frustration turns into self-doubt. He starts questioning himself. Maybe I'm not attractive enough. Maybe I'm not successful enough. Maybe I need to do more. So he doubles down. He gives even more. More attention. More validation. More effort. Not realizing that with every extra thing he does, he is slowly losing himself. Because what he does not understand is this. People are not loyal to effort. They are loyal to value. And value is not determined by how much you give. It is determined by how you are perceived. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes powerful. Because Stoicism does not teach you how to chase. It teaches you how to stand. It teaches you how to build yourself into a man who is not easily shaken, not easily replaced, and not easily taken for granted. A man who does not need to beg for loyalty, because his presence commands it. But to reach that level, you must first confront uncomfortable truths. Truths that go against everything you've been told. Truths that challenge the idea that being nice is enough. Truths that force you to look at your behavior, your mindset, and the silent patterns that are working against you. Because the reality is simple. You can give someone everything and still lose them. Not because you are worthless, but because you are playing the game without understanding the rules. And once you understand those rules, everything changes. You stop chasing. You stop overgiving. You stop trying to earn something that cannot be bought with effort. Instead, you become someone people naturally don't want to lose. This is not about manipulation. This is not about controlling anyone. This is about control over yourself, your emotions, your standards, your boundaries, your focus. Because when a man gains control over himself, he stops seeking validation from others. And when he stops seeking validation, he becomes powerful. And power changes everything. The way you speak, the way you act, the way people respond to you, the way people treat you, including women. Because attraction is not built on effort alone. It is built on presence, on emotional impact, on the subtle tension between certainty and unpredictability. And most men destroy that tension without even realizing it. They make themselves too available, too predictable, too easy to access. And in doing so, they remove the very thing that creates desire. This is why you will sometimes see a man who does everything right get ignored, while another man who seems to do less gets all the attention. It is not random. It is not luck. It is understanding. And today, you are going to understand it. You are going to see clearly what most men never take the time to see. Not through emotion. Not through wishful thinking. But through truth. Because once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. And once you understand it, you will never move the same way again. So listen carefully. Because what you are about to hear will either challenge you or change you. And that depends entirely on whether you are ready to let go of what you thought you knew and step into a different way of thinking, a stronger way, a more controlled way, a way that puts you back in position, not as someone chasing loyalty, but as someone who naturally attracts it. Now let's begin. Women are loyal to how you make them feel, not what you do. One of the biggest mistakes a man can make is believing that effort automatically creates attachment. It doesn't. Effort can be ignored. Effort can be overlooked. Effort can even become expected. But emotional experience, that is what people remember. That is what they respond to. That is what they become attached to. This is where many men get trapped. They build their entire approach around doing. They think, if I show up consistently, if I take care of her needs, if I make her life easier, then she will naturally stay loyal. But what they don't realize is that human beings are not wired to value effort alone. They are wired to respond to how something makes them feel. You can do everything right on paper and still fail emotionally. You can provide everything and still not be desired. Because doing is external, but feelings are internal. And internal experiences always outweigh external actions. This is why a man can give a woman gifts every week and still feel like he's not enough, while another man, who does far less, creates a stronger emotional connection. It doesn't make sense logically, but it makes perfect sense psychologically, because emotions are not logical. They are experiential. They are built through moments, through presence, through energy, through the way someone makes you feel when they are around, and even when they are not. A Stoic man understands this deeply. He does not try to impress through constant action. He understands that overdoing things can actually reduce impact. Because when something is always available, it loses its intensity. Think about it. If you receive something every single day, at some point, it stops feeling special. It becomes normal. And once something becomes normal, it no longer creates excitement. The same applies to your presence. If you are always there, always responding immediately, always giving attention without pause, you remove anticipation. You remove curiosity. You remove emotional tension. And without tension, there is no attraction. This is not about playing games. This is about understanding human nature. People are drawn to what they cannot fully predict, to what they cannot fully control, to what they feel but cannot completely explain. When you become too easy to access, too predictable, too available, you lose that edge. You become safe. And while safety may sound positive, in excess it kills desire. Because desire thrives on uncertainty, on the unknown, on the possibility of gaining or losing. A man who is always certain, always available, always trying to please, removes that possibility. And once that happens, the emotional intensity fades. A Stoic man does not chase emotional reactions. He creates an environment where emotions naturally occur. Through his presence, through his focus, through the way he carries himself. He is not trying to entertain. He is not trying to impress. He is grounded, centered, in control. And that alone creates a different kind of feeling. A feeling of calm mixed with curiosity. Stability mixed with unpredictability. And that combination is powerful. Because it keeps people engaged. It keeps them thinking. It keeps them emotionally invested. Another mistake many men make is tying their self-worth to how much they do for someone. They measure their value based on effort. How much they give. How much they sacrifice. How much they show up. But the problem with this mindset is simple. It puts your value in someone else's hands. Because now, your worth depends on whether your actions are appreciated. And appreciation is not something you can control. This is why some men feel frustrated. They give everything and receive little in return. Not because they are not valuable, but because they are expressing value in a way that is not being felt. And when value is not felt, it is not recognized. A Stoic man detaches his value from external validation. He does not need constant appreciation to feel worthy. He does not need someone to acknowledge his effort to feel complete. Because his sense of self is internal, not dependent on reactions. This gives him power. Because now, he is not acting out of need. He is acting out of choice. And there is a big difference between the two. When you act out of need, there is pressure. There is expectation. There is attachment. And people can feel that. They may not say it, but they feel it. And it changes how they respond to you. But when you act out of choice, there is freedom. There is calmness. There is confidence. Because you are not trying to get something. You are simply expressing who you are. And that energy is attractive. Because it is rare. Most people are trying to get something from others. Validation, attention, approval. But when someone comes along who is not seeking, who is already full within themselves, it creates a different dynamic. It shifts the balance. Because now, they are the one being observed, not the one trying to prove. And that changes everything. Another key thing to understand is this. Emotional memory is stronger than logical memory. People may forget what you did, but they will remember how they felt. They will remember the feeling of being excited around you. The feeling of being understood. The feeling of being challenged. The feeling of uncertainty mixed with attraction. These are the things that stay. Not the small favors. Not the constant availability. Not the predictable routines. Those fade. But emotional experiences, they linger. This is why some people leave relationships that were good on paper. Because something was missing emotionally. And without emotional connection, nothing else can sustain long-term attachment. A Stoic man focuses on depth, not frequency. He does not try to be everywhere all the time. He focuses on meaningful presence. When he speaks, it matters. When he shows up, it has weight. When he withdraws, it is felt. Because he is not overexposed. He is not constantly flooding someone with his presence. He understands the power of space. The power of absence. The power of letting emotions breathe. Because when there is space, people think. They reflect. They feel. And feeling is what creates attachment. If you remove space, you remove the opportunity for those feelings to grow. This is why distance, when used correctly, can increase attraction, not as a tactic, but as a natural result of having a life, a purpose, a focus beyond just one person. When you are busy building yourself, you are not constantly available, and that naturally creates space. And that space creates curiosity. And curiosity leads to emotional engagement. Everything connects. Nothing is random. The way you show up determines how you are experienced. And how you are experienced determines how you are valued. Not what you do, but how it is felt. Once you understand this, you stop overcompensating. You stop trying to prove your worth through effort. You stop exhausting yourself trying to be enough. Instead, you become intentional. You become aware. You become someone whose presence carries weight. And when your presence carries weight, you don't need to do too much. Because even the little you do is felt deeply. And that is where real influence begins. 2. Respect comes before loyalty. And many men get this wrong. There is something many men desperately want, but very few actually build correctly. Loyalty. They want a woman who stays, who respects them, who doesn't drift, who doesn't replace them the moment something better appears. So they try to earn it. They give more. They tolerate more. They become more accommodating, thinking that if they just prove themselves enough, loyalty will follow. But what they fail to understand is this: loyalty does not come first. Respect comes first. And without respect, loyalty is unstable, temporary, easily broken. This is where many men lose control of the situation without even realizing it. Because instead of building respect, they focus on being liked. They want to be seen as kind, understanding, easy to be around. They avoid conflict. They avoid saying no. They avoid anything that might make them look difficult. And in doing so, they slowly erase the very thing that commands respect: their standards. A man without standards becomes easy to manage, easy to predict, easy to take for granted. And once that happens, the dynamic shifts. She no longer sees him as someone to look up to, but someone she can control emotionally. This is not something she consciously decides. It happens naturally, because human beings respond to behavior, and behavior communicates value. If you tolerate everything, you communicate that you have no limits. If you accept disrespect, you communicate that you don't require better. If you constantly adjust yourself just to be accepted, you communicate that you are afraid to stand alone. And fear is never respected. A Stoic man understands something most people ignore. Respect is not something you ask for. It is something you demonstrate. Through how you carry yourself. Through what you accept. Through what you reject. Through what you are willing to walk away from. This is why the ability to walk away is one of the most powerful traits a man can develop. Not because you want to leave, but because you are not afraid to. There is a difference. A man who cannot walk away will tolerate things he shouldn't. He will stay in situations that drain him. He will accept behavior that slowly destroys his confidence. Because in his mind, losing the person is worse than losing himself. And that is where everything breaks. Because the moment you prioritize keeping someone over respecting yourself, you lose leverage. you lose presence. You lose power. And once power is lost, the way you are treated begins to change. Subtly at first, then more clearly, until one day, you realize you are no longer being valued the way you once were. A Stoic man never puts himself in that position. He does not chase acceptance. He does not beg for understanding. He does not over-explain his boundaries. He lives them, quietly, firmly, without negotiation, because he understands that people don't respect what you say. They respect what you enforce. Another hard truth is this: being liked is not the same as being respected. You can be liked and still be ignored. You can be liked and still be taken for granted. You can be liked and still be replaced. Because liking is emotional. It is temporary. It changes based on mood, environment, and circumstance. But respect is structural. It is built over time. It is based on consistency, on strength, on integrity. And once it is established, it does not easily disappear. This is why a man who is respected does not need to constantly prove himself. His presence already carries weight. His words are taken seriously. His absence is noticed. Because respect creates value. And value creates attachment. Many men try to skip this process. They go straight to giving, straight to investing, straight to committing, without first asking a simple question. Does this person respect me? Not based on what they say, but based on how they behave. Do they listen when you speak? Do they consider your time? Do they respect your boundaries? Do they treat you with consistency? Because words can be misleading, but behavior never lies. A Stoic man observes before he invests. He pays attention. He watches patterns. He listens to actions, not promises. Because he knows that once he invests deeply, it becomes harder to detach. And attachment without clarity leads to mistakes. Another mistake many men make is confusing tolerance with strength. They believe that enduring everything, staying calm no matter what, accepting poor behavior without reacting, makes them strong. But that is not strength. That is suppression. Real strength is not about enduring disrespect. It is about refusing it, calmly, without drama, without anger, but with certainty. A Stoic man does not explode emotionally, but he also does not ignore what violates his standards. He addresses it directly, and if it continues, he removes himself. No arguments, no begging, no trying to fix what is not aligned. Because he understands that respect cannot be negotiated. It can only be maintained. And maintenance requires action, not words. There is also something else most men overlook. Respect is deeply connected to self-respect. If you do not respect yourself, it will show in your decisions, in your boundaries, in your tolerance levels, and people will respond accordingly, not consciously, but instinctively, because energy communicates more than words. If you carry yourself like someone who doubts his own value, others will treat you that way. If you carry yourself like someone who is afraid to lose, others will test that fear. But when you move with certainty, with clarity, with a quiet confidence that does not need validation, everything changes. People think twice. They become more intentional. more aware of how they treat you, not because you demanded it, but because your presence requires it. This is the difference between a man who is chasing loyalty and a man who attracts it. One is trying to earn something externally. The other has built something internally. And that internal foundation is what everything else is built on. A Stoic man focuses on becoming, not convincing. He does not try to prove his worth to anyone. He becomes someone whose worth is evident through discipline, through self-control, through the way he handles pressure, through the way he handles himself. Because at the end of the day, respect is not given to effort. It is given to identity, to who you are, not what you do. And once you understand this, you stop trying to earn loyalty through actions alone. You start building the one thing that makes loyalty possible in the first place: respect. Without it, nothing lasts. With it, everything becomes stronger. And from that foundation, loyalty is no longer something you chase. It becomes something that naturally follows. 3. Overgiving creates imbalance, and imbalance kills attraction. There is a pattern that repeats itself over and over again. A man meets a woman he truly likes. He feels the connection. He feels the excitement. And almost immediately, he starts giving more time, more attention, more effort, more energy. He wants to show that he is different, better, reliable. He wants to stand out. So he invests heavily, early, without hesitation, without restraint. At first, it seems to work. She responds. She appreciates it. She acknowledges the effort. Everything feels smooth. But slowly, something begins to change. Her responses become less enthusiastic. Her attention starts to fade. The same energy he was receiving at the beginning is no longer there. And now, he is confused. Because in his mind, he is doing everything right. So what went wrong? The answer is simple. He created an imbalance. An imbalance quietly destroys attraction. Because attraction thrives on mutual investment, not one-sided effort. When one person is giving significantly more than the other, the dynamic shifts. One becomes the pursuer. The other becomes the receiver. And once that happens, value perception changes. The person who is giving more starts to feel less valued. The person receiving more starts to invest less. Not out of intention, but out of natural human behavior. People value what they invest in, not what is constantly given to them. When something requires effort, it becomes meaningful. When something is freely available at all times, it becomes easy to overlook. This is why overgiving is dangerous. Not because giving is wrong, but because giving without balance removes tension. And tension is necessary for attraction. A Stoic man understands the importance of restraint. He does not pour everything out at once. He does not try to impress through excess. He allows things to build naturally, step by step, layer by layer, because he knows that connection is not something you force. It is something you develop over time, through shared experiences, through mutual investment, through emotional pacing. When you rush this process, you overwhelm the dynamic. You give too much too soon. And when that happens, the other person has no space to invest, no space to contribute, no space to build their own attachment. And without investment, attachment remains shallow. This is why some connections feel intense at the beginning, but fade quickly, because they were built on one-sided energy, not mutual growth. Another mistake many men make is using giving as a strategy to secure someone. They believe that if they just do enough, the person will feel obligated to stay. But attraction is not built on obligation. It is built on desire. And desire cannot be forced. You cannot negotiate it. You cannot buy it. You cannot secure it through constant effort. In fact, the more you try to secure it, the more it slips away. Because neediness is felt. It shows in your actions, in your consistency, in your urgency. And when someone feels that you are giving from a place of need, it changes how they see you. You no longer appear as someone choosing them. You appear as someone who needs them. And that shift is critical. Because people are drawn to those who have options, not those who feel dependent. A Stoic man gives from abundance, not from lack. He shares his time, but he does not abandon his priorities. He shows interest, but he does not lose focus on his purpose. He invests, but he expects alignment, because he understands that his energy is valuable, and anything valuable must be protected, not given away carelessly. There is also something deeper happening beneath the surface. When you overgive, you unconsciously communicate that you are trying to prove something, that you are trying to earn your place, that you are not fully confident in your value, and people respond to that energy. They may not say it directly, but they feel it, and over time, that feeling reduces attraction, because confidence is not expressed through excess effort. It is expressed through calm certainty, through controlled investment, through the ability to give without losing yourself. Another key element of imbalance is emotional availability. Many men believe that being fully available at all times is a sign of strength, of reliability, of commitment. But in reality, constant availability removes mystery. It removes anticipation. It removes the emotional space needed for desire to grow. If someone knows they can reach you anytime, get your attention instantly, receive your energy without effort, then your presence becomes predictable, and predictability reduces excitement. A Stoic man is not unavailable out of strategy. He is unavailable because he has a life, a purpose, a direction. He is building something, growing, evolving, and because of that, his time is not always accessible, not because he is playing games, but because he values his focus, and that naturally creates balance, because now, access to him feels earned, not assumed, and when something feels earned, it is valued differently. Another mistake tied to overgiving is ignoring reciprocation. A man continues to invest, even when the energy is not matched. He justifies it. Maybe she's busy. Maybe she needs time. Maybe I should be more patient. And while patience is important, blind investment is dangerous, because it keeps you stuck in a one-sided dynamic. A Stoic man pays attention to patterns, not excuses. He observes consistency, not words. If the energy is not being returned, he adjusts. He pulls back, not out of ego, but out of awareness. Because he understands that forcing connection never works. It only drains him and weakens his position. Balance is not created by giving more. It is created by matching energy, by allowing the other person to meet you halfway. And if they don't, having the strength to step back, without resentment, without anger, but with clarity. Because not every connection is meant to grow, and forcing it only leads to frustration. Attraction is not built through pressure. It is built through flow, through rhythm, through mutual engagement. And that can only happen when both sides are investing equally, naturally, without force. Once you understand this, you stop overextending yourself. You stop trying to win people over through effort alone. You become more selective, more intentional, more controlled. And that changes everything. Because now, you are no longer chasing connection. You are allowing it to develop. And when it develops naturally, it lasts longer, feels stronger, and holds more value. And that is where real attraction begins. Not in how much you give, but in how well you understand when to give and when to hold back. For women are drawn to strength, not just kindness. There is a belief that has been repeated so often that many men accept it without question. That being kind is enough. That if you are respectful, patient, caring, and always there, you will naturally be valued. But reality does not always reward kindness the way people expect. Because kindness, on its own, is not what creates attraction. Kindness is appreciated, but it is not what sustains desire. This is where many men become frustrated. They do everything right. They treat her well. They speak respectfully. They avoid conflict. They try to be the best version of a good man. And yet, they feel overlooked, undervalued, sometimes even replaced by someone who seems less kind, less giving, less invested. And that confusion leads to resentment. But the truth is simple. Kindness without strength is incomplete. It lacks presence. It lacks weight. It lacks the edge that creates attraction. Because attraction is not built on comfort alone. It is built on a combination of comfort and tension, warmth and firmness, understanding and boundaries. A Stoic man embodies both. He is kind, but not weak. He is calm, but not passive. He listens, but he does not submit his standards just to keep peace. This balance is what creates respect. And respect is what allows kindness to be valued. Without respect, kindness becomes something else. It becomes predictable, expected, sometimes even ignored. Because when someone knows you will always be kind no matter what, they stop seeing it as something meaningful. It becomes baseline. And baseline does not create attraction. Another important truth is this. Strength is not loud. It is not aggressive. It is not about dominance or control. True strength is quiet. It is the ability to remain composed under pressure, to stay grounded when emotions rise, to respond, not react, to stand firm without needing to prove anything. This kind of strength creates a powerful presence, because it signals control. Control over emotions, control over decisions, control over self. And that is what people naturally gravitate toward. Because control creates stability, and stability creates trust. But there is also another side to strength that many men avoid. The ability to say no. The ability to disagree. The ability to walk away, without guilt, without over-explaining, without fear of losing approval. Many men struggle with this, because they associate disagreement with conflict. They believe that saying no will push people away, so they avoid it. They agree even when they don't want to. They accept things they are not comfortable with. They suppress their true thoughts just to maintain harmony. And in doing so, they slowly lose their identity. Because every time you ignore your own standards, you weaken your position. You become less defined, less certain, less respected. A Stoic man does not fear discomfort. He understands that discomfort is part of growth, part of honesty, part of maintaining integrity. He does not create conflict unnecessarily, but he does not avoid it when it matters. He addresses things directly, calmly, without emotional chaos, because he values truth over temporary peace. And that creates a different kind of dynamic, one where he is not easily controlled, not easily influenced, not easily manipulated. And that independence is attractive, because it shows that he is not operating from fear. He is operating from clarity. Another thing to understand is this: people are not drawn to perfection. They are drawn to authenticity, to someone who knows who they are, who does not bend easily, who does not shift based on approval, who remains consistent in their values. Kindness without identity is fragile. It changes depending on who you are trying to please. But strength rooted in identity is stable. It does not fluctuate. It does not depend on reactions. It exists on its own. This is why a man who is grounded in himself does not need to constantly prove his worth. He does not need to overcompensate. He does not need to impress, because his presence already communicates value. And when value is felt, less effort is required. Another mistake many men make is thinking that being emotionally open means being emotionally uncontrolled. They share everything, immediately, without filter, without timing, believing that vulnerability alone will create connection. But vulnerability without strength can feel overwhelming. It can feel unstable, because there is no structure holding it. A Stoic man understands timing. He understands pacing. He does not hide his emotions, but he does not let them control him. He expresses, but with awareness, with control, with intention. Because emotional discipline is part of strength, and discipline creates trust. Another key factor is this: strength creates boundaries, and boundaries create clarity. When you have clear boundaries, people know where you stand. They know what is acceptable. They know what is not, and that removes confusion. But when you lack boundaries, everything becomes negotiable. Your time, your energy, your standards. And when everything is negotiable, nothing is respected. A Stoic man does not need to announce his boundaries loudly. He lives them through action, through consistency, through the way he responds to situations. If something does not align, he does not argue endlessly. He adjusts his presence. He steps back. He removes access. And that speaks louder than words, because actions define reality, not explanations. There is also something else many men overlook. Strength creates emotional safety, not just physical or financial safety, but emotional stability. The kind where a woman knows This man will not break under pressure. He will not become unpredictable. He will not lose control when things get difficult. And that sense of stability is powerful, because it allows deeper connection to form, without fear, without uncertainty, without chaos. And that is what sustains long-term attraction. Not constant excitement, but controlled strength, balanced with genuine care. Once you understand this, you stop trying to be liked at all costs. You stop bending just to maintain connection. You stop overgiving in the name of being good. Instead, you become grounded, balanced, defined. A man who is kind, but also strong, present, but not dependent, open, but in control. And that combination is rare, and anything rare is valued differently, not because you demanded it, but because your presence naturally commands it. 5. Attachment without purpose leads to desperation. There is a silent shift that happens in a man's life when he lacks direction. It doesn't happen suddenly. It builds slowly, quietly, until one day, without realizing it, he makes a relationship the center of his world. His focus shifts. His priorities change. His energy becomes concentrated on one thing, one person. And at first, it feels right. It feels natural. Because connection brings excitement. Attention feels good. Having someone to talk to share with, to invest in, gives a sense of meaning. But over time, something begins to change. His mood starts depending on her responses. If she replies fast, he feels good. If she delays, he feels uneasy. If she seems distant, he feels anxious. If she pulls back, he starts chasing. Now his emotional state is no longer in his control. It is tied to someone else's behavior. And that is where the problem begins. Because the moment your peace depends on someone else, you lose stability. You become reactive. You become sensitive to small changes. You start overanalyzing everything. Every message. Every delay. Every shift in tone. And that creates pressure. Not just internally, but externally as well. Because people can feel when you are emotionally dependent. They can sense the need, the urgency, the attachment, and that changes how they respond to you. Not always consciously, but instinctively. Because when someone feels like they are your only source of happiness, it creates weight, responsibility, pressure, and pressure pushes people away. This is why desperation is one of the fastest ways to lose attraction. Not because you are not worthy, but because your energy is unstable. It is seeking, grasping, trying to hold on to something too tightly, and anything held too tightly eventually slips away. A Stoic man understands something critical. A relationship is not his purpose. It is a part of his life, not the foundation of it. His foundation is built elsewhere, on his goals, his growth, his discipline, his mission, something that exists independently of anyone else. And because of that, he is stable, grounded, in control of his emotions. Because his life does not revolve around one person. It is structured around something bigger. This is what gives him an edge. Because now, he is not operating from need. He is operating from choice. He chooses to invest. He chooses to show up. He chooses to connect. but he does not depend on it. And that difference is everything. Because when you depend on something, you fear losing it, and fear changes your behavior. It makes you hesitant. It makes you overthink. It makes you compromise things you normally wouldn't. But when you choose something, without depending on it, you remain in control. You remain clear. You remain strong. Another issue that comes from lack of purpose is overavailability. When a man has nothing meaningful occupying his time, he becomes too accessible, always available to talk, always ready to respond, always waiting. And while this may seem like commitment, it actually reduces value. Because value is tied to scarcity, to limitation, to the understanding that something cannot be accessed at any time. When your time is always available, it loses weight. It becomes ordinary, expected. But when your time is structured, when you have priorities, when you are focused on building something, your availability naturally decreases. And that creates a different perception. Because now, your time feels valuable, not because you said it is, but because your actions reflect it. A Stoic man does not pretend to be busy. He is busy, not in a chaotic way, but in a focused, intentional way. He is working on himself, improving his skills, building his life, and because of that, he does not have the luxury of being constantly available. This creates balance, because now, attention is not one-sided. It is earned, shared, mutual. Another key point is emotional independence. Many men confuse connection with dependence. They believe that being deeply involved means being emotionally attached at all times. But emotional independence is what allows connection to remain healthy. Because now, you can care without losing control. You can invest without becoming desperate. You can appreciate someone without needing them to validate your existence. A Stoic man feels deeply, but he is not controlled by those feelings. He experiences emotions, but he does not become them. He remains aware, grounded, in control, because he understands that emotions are temporary. But his identity is not. Another thing that happens when a man lacks purpose is overthinking. Without direction, his mind becomes occupied with small details. Things that should not matter begin to feel important. He starts analyzing messages, reading into silence, creating scenarios in his head, trying to interpret every action. And this mental state is exhausting. It drains energy. It creates insecurity. And it leads to unnecessary reactions. But when a man has purpose, his mind is occupied with something meaningful, something productive, something that moves his life forward. And because of that, he does not have time to overanalyze every interaction. He is focused, clear, directed, and that clarity reflects in how he behaves. Calm, composed, unbothered by minor fluctuations. Because his life is not dependent on them. There is also something powerful about having purpose. It creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence. When you are progressing, when you are improving, when you are building something tangible, you feel different. You carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You move with certainty. And that energy is attractive because it signals growth, direction, potential. And people are naturally drawn to those who are going somewhere. not those who are waiting. A Stoic man does not wait for life to happen. He creates structure. He creates movement. He creates direction. And relationships fit into that structure, not the other way around. This is why he is not easily shaken, not easily thrown off balance, not easily consumed by emotions, because his foundation is strong, built on discipline, on purpose, on self-control, and that foundation keeps him steady, even when everything else shifts. Once you understand this, you stop making people your center. You stop building your life around someone else's presence. You start building something of your own. Something solid. Something meaningful. Something that gives you direction regardless of who comes or goes. And when you reach that point, you no longer feel desperate. You no longer chase. You no longer fear losing people. Because you know, you are not losing yourself. And that is the ultimate form of control. The kind that cannot be taken from you. The kind that naturally attracts respect. And with it, loyalty. 6. Predictability kills attraction, and most men don't see it. There is a comfort that comes with being predictable. Everything feels stable, safe, controlled. You respond on time. You show up consistently. You behave exactly how you behaved yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. Nothing changes. Nothing surprises. Nothing disrupts the pattern. And at first, this feels like the right way to build something. Because consistency is often associated with reliability, with trust, with maturity. But there is a line most men don't see. A line between consistency and predictability. Consistency builds trust. But predictability kills excitement. And without excitement, attraction begins to fade. Slowly, silently, until one day, it feels like something is missing. And no one can fully explain why. Because on the surface, everything still looks good, but emotionally, it feels flat. This is where many men get blindsided, because they believe they are doing everything right. They are consistent, reliable, available. So when things begin to shift, they don't understand it. But the truth is simple. They became too easy to read, too easy to access, too easy to predict. And when that happens, the emotional spark weakens. Because human nature is drawn to variation, to the unknown, to moments that break patterns. Not chaos, but controlled unpredictability. A Stoic man understands this balance. He is consistent in his values, consistent in his behavior, but not predictable in his presence. He does not operate on a fixed script. He does not make himself completely transparent. He allows space for curiosity, for intrigue, for emotional variation, because he understands that attraction is not sustained by routine alone. It is sustained by engagement, by the feeling that there is always something more to discover, something more to experience. When everything becomes known, everything becomes expected, and what is expected loses its intensity. Think about it. If someone knows exactly how you will respond every time, there is no anticipation, no curiosity, no emotional build-up. Everything becomes flat, mechanical, routine. And routine, when it lacks variation, becomes boring. This is why some relationships lose their spark over time. Not because something went wrong, but because nothing changed. Everything stayed the same, and sameness removes excitement. A Stoic man does not fall into that trap. He continues to grow, to evolve, to challenge himself. And because he is always evolving, his presence evolves as well. He is not stuck in one version of himself. He is constantly refining, learning, expanding, and that naturally keeps things dynamic. Because you can never fully predict someone who is always growing. Another mistake many men make is over-communicating. They feel the need to explain everything, to share every thought, to be fully transparent at all times, believing that this builds closeness. But too much transparency removes mystery. And mystery is a key part of attraction. Not mystery as in secrecy or deception, but mystery as in depth, layers, the understanding that there is more beneath the surface. A Stoic man does not reveal everything at once. He allows things to unfold naturally, through time, through interaction, through experience, because he understands that discovery creates engagement. When someone is constantly discovering new layers about you, they remain interested, emotionally invested. But when everything is exposed immediately, there is nothing left to explore, nothing left to uncover, and interest begins to decline. Another aspect of predictability is emotional consistency. Many men believe they must always show the same level of attention, the same level of interest, the same level of availability, at all times. But emotions do not work that way. They fluctuate. They move. They respond to context. A Stoic man does not force emotional uniformity. He allows natural rhythm. There are moments of intensity, moments of calm, moments of distance, moments of closeness, and this variation creates a more natural dynamic, one that feels alive, not mechanical, because real connection is not flat. It has depth, movement, contrast, and contrast is what creates emotional impact. Without contrast, everything blends together. Nothing stands out. Nothing feels significant. Another critical point is this: predictability reduces perceived value. Because value is often linked to effort, to the idea that something is not always guaranteed. When your attention is guaranteed, it loses weight. When your presence is guaranteed, it loses significance. But when there is uncertainty, when access is not constant, when presence is not always immediate, it creates importance. Not because you are playing games, but because your life has structure, priorities, focus. A Stoic man is not unpredictable for the sake of manipulation. He is simply not controlled by routine. He responds based on his life, his priorities, his state, not based on the need to maintain a pattern. And that authenticity creates a different kind of engagement. Because now, every interaction feels real, not forced, not scripted, not predictable. There is also something deeper at play. When you are predictable, you become replaceable. Because there is nothing unique about your presence. Nothing that stands out. Nothing that creates lasting emotional impact. But when you are dynamic, when your presence carries variation, depth, uncertainty, you become harder to replace. Because the experience you create is not common. It is not easily replicated. A Stoic man does not try to be different. He becomes different through growth, through discipline, through self-awareness. And that naturally separates him. Another key factor is routine behavior. Doing the same things, at the same time, in the same way, over and over again, without variation, without creativity, without intention. And while routine can create stability, it can also create stagnation, if not balanced correctly. A Stoic man uses routine for growth, not for repetition. He builds habits that improve him, that push him forward. But he does not let routine define his interactions. He remains adaptable, flexible, responsive to the moment. Because life is not static, and neither should he be. Once you understand this, you stop operating on autopilot. You stop repeating the same patterns without awareness. You become more intentional, more present, more engaged. And that changes how you are experienced. Because now, your presence feels alive. Not routine, not expected, not predictable. And that aliveness is what keeps attraction from fading. It keeps curiosity active. It keeps emotions engaged. It keeps the connection from becoming something ordinary. And once something becomes ordinary, it is only a matter of time before it is overlooked. But when something remains engaging, dynamic, slightly unpredictable, it holds attention. It holds interest. And most importantly, it holds value. 7. You can do everything right and still lose, accept this or stay frustrated. There is one truth that most men resist more than anything else. Because it feels unfair. It feels uncomfortable. It challenges the belief that life is supposed to reward effort in a predictable way. And that truth is this: you can do everything right and still lose someone. You can be disciplined, focused, respectful, emotionally controlled, purpose-driven, and still, someone may walk away. Not because you failed, not because you were not enough, but because human beings are not fixed. They change. Their feelings shift. Their desires evolve. And sometimes, they simply choose differently. This is where many men break. Because they expect control. They believe that if they follow the right formula, they can guarantee an outcome. But relationships do not work like that. They are not contracts. They are experiences. And experiences are influenced by variables you cannot control. This is why Stoicism places such strong emphasis on one principle. Control what you can control, and let go of what you cannot. You cannot control someone's feelings. You cannot control their decisions. You cannot control whether they stay or leave. But you can control yourself, your standards, your mindset, your actions, your response to situations. And that is where your power lies. Because when you try to control what is outside of you, you become frustrated, anxious, emotionally unstable. But when you focus on what is within you, you become grounded, clear, unshaken. A Stoic man does not build his confidence on outcomes. He builds it on identity, on who he is, not on what he gets. Because outcomes change. People come and go. Situations shift. But identity, that stays. If you base your value on whether someone stays, you will always feel uncertain, because their decision is not fully in your control. But if you base your value on who you are, on your discipline, on your growth, on your standards, then no outcome can shake you. This is the difference between attachment and strength. Attachment says, I need this to work. Strength says, I will be fine regardless. And that mindset changes everything. Because now, you are not acting from fear. You are acting from clarity. You are not trying to hold on to something at all costs. You are allowing things to be what they are. And that creates peace. Real peace. Not the temporary kind, but the kind that remains even when things don't go your way. Another thing to understand is this. Loss is not always failure. Sometimes, it is alignment. Two people moving in different directions. Two mindsets that no longer match. Two energies that no longer connect. And trying to force alignment only creates more damage. A Stoic man recognizes when something is no longer aligned, and he has the strength to accept it, without begging, without chasing, without losing himself in the process, because he understands that holding on to something that no longer fits prevents him from moving forward, prevents growth, prevents better opportunities. This is why detachment is powerful. Not because you don't care, but because you are not controlled by outcomes. You can care deeply and still let go when necessary. You can invest fully and still walk away with dignity. You can experience connection without becoming dependent on it. And that balance is what gives you control. Many men fear losing someone, so they overcompensate. They try harder. They give more. They tolerate things they shouldn't, all in an attempt to avoid loss. But in doing so, they lose something far more important: themselves. A Stoic man never makes that trade. He would rather lose a connection than lose his identity, because he knows he can rebuild anything except the version of himself he abandons. Once you accept this truth, you become free. Free from the need to control outcomes. Free from the fear of losing people. Free from the pressure to prove your worth. And in that freedom, you become stronger, calmer, more focused, more grounded, and ironically, more attractive. Because now, you are not trying to hold on to anyone, and that lack of desperation creates a different kind of energy, one that people respect, one that people feel, one that people are drawn to. Not because you are forcing it, but because you are no longer chasing it. And that is where everything shifts. 8. Become the man loyalty naturally follows, not the one who chases it. At this point, everything becomes simple. Not easy, but simple. Because the problem was never that you weren't doing enough. The problem was that you were doing too much of the wrong things, and not enough of what actually matters. You were trying to earn loyalty through effort, instead of becoming someone who naturally attracts it. And that shift is everything. Because once you understand that loyalty is not something you chase, but something that follows value, you stop exhausting yourself. You stop overthinking. You stop trying to prove yourself at every moment. And instead, you focus on building the one thing that cannot be ignored: yourself. Not for validation, not for approval, but for identity. A Stoic man is not focused on being chosen. He is focused on becoming disciplined, becoming controlled, becoming grounded, becoming a man whose life has direction. Because when your life has direction, you don't need to chase attention. Attention comes when your mindset is strong. You don't need to seek validation. Validation becomes irrelevant. When your standards are clear, you don't need to beg for respect. Respect becomes automatic. This is the shift. From external to internal. From chasing to becoming. From needing to choosing. Because the truth is, the more you chase something, the more it moves away from you. But the more you build yourself, the more everything begins to align. This is not theory. This is reality. You've seen it before. The man who is focused, busy, not constantly seeking attention. He doesn't chase. He doesn't overextend. He doesn't try too hard. And yet, people gravitate toward him. Why? Because he is not operating from lack. He is operating from fullness, from purpose, from clarity. And that energy is rare. Most people are looking for something, trying to get something, needing something. But when someone shows up who is already complete within themselves, it creates a different dynamic. Because now, they are not trying to take. They are simply choosing to share. And that changes everything. A Stoic man does not build his life around keeping someone. He builds a life that someone would be fortunate to be part of. And that mindset shifts your entire approach. You stop lowering your standards just to maintain connection. You stop tolerating things that drain you. You stop holding on to people who are not aligned. Because now, you understand your value. Not based on opinion, but based on discipline, on growth, on consistency, on who you are becoming daily. And that kind of value cannot be ignored. Another key shift is this. You stop fearing loss. Because you understand something deeper. Anything that leaves was not aligned enough to stay. And anything that stays will align naturally, without force, without pressure, without you having to lose yourself in the process. This gives you peace, real peace, because now, you are not constantly trying to control outcomes. You are focused on controlling yourself, and that is where real power lies. Your thoughts, your reactions, your decisions, your standards. Because once those are in place, everything else becomes easier. Not perfect, but easier, more clear, more stable, more controlled. A Stoic man does not rush connection. He does not force attachment. He does not try to secure something prematurely. He allows things to develop naturally, at the right pace, because he understands that anything forced eventually breaks. But anything built with patience, with clarity, with mutual investment, has a stronger foundation. This is why he is selective. Not everyone gets access to him. Not everyone gets his time. Not everyone gets his energy. Because he values those things. And anything that is valued is protected. Not given freely without consideration. This is not arrogance. This is awareness. The awareness that your life matters. Your time matters. Your energy matters. And where you invest those things shapes your future. So you become intentional with who you allow in, with what you tolerate, with how you move, because you understand that every decision carries weight, and that awareness alone separates you from most men. Most men react. A Stoic man responds. Most men chase. A Stoic man attracts. Most men depend. A Stoic man stands on his own. And that independence, that grounded presence, that clarity, is what makes him different. Not what he says, not what he shows, but who he is. And when you reach that point, everything changes. You no longer need to convince anyone of your worth. You no longer need to prove anything. You no longer need to overextend yourself, because your presence already communicates what needs to be understood. And that is the level where loyalty becomes natural. Not forced, not negotiated, but chosen. At the end of the day, this is not about women. It's about you. Your mindset, your discipline, your standards, your control over yourself. Because once you master that, everything else falls into place. You stop chasing. You stop overgiving. You stop losing yourself trying to keep others. And instead, you become someone who is grounded, respected, and not easily replaced. So if this message made you see things differently, I want you to do something simple. Go to the comments right now and tell me where you're watching from. I read every single one. And if you want more content that sharpens your mindset, strengthens your discipline, and puts you back in control of your life, then subscribe to the channel. Because this is where you don't just hear motivation. You learn how to think differently. And once you think differently, you move differently. And once you move differently, your entire life changes. Stay focused. Stay disciplined. And I'll see you in the next video.